And welcome to another edition of the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. I am your host, Dougie Almeida, coming to you from cold Simpsonville, South Carolina. Didn't know I'd be dealing with so much cold, but it is cold, and I'm not sweating, so I guess I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, welcome to the show. We apologize we missed the last week's show because a couple of guys got called onto a cruise ship for the new comedy tour, which I'm going to be a part of starting this year. With a bunch of great people, and but they're going to come back on the 15th or 16th, whatever it is, of February. But today's show is great. I have returning to the show my good friend and fellow Carl Springian, and has been on the show several times. DJ Border Breaks, Mr. Brian Offenther is with us today, and my comedian friend, very funny lady from Miami, Pauley McPaulerson, is joining us. Welcome, you two.
Hello there.
Happy to be back, Dougie.
That's right, man. Now, the last time, Brian, we got together, we got pretty wasted. Actually, we were drinking a bunch of Mongolian liquor, and am I right?
So, in commemoration of that, I decided to bring to the party where it's 7 a.m. here in Shanghai. We have shiguderi, Mongolian traditional milk vodka, and especially because it's the Lunar New Year, so. Amr Benno, happy Sagansar. I already poured myself a little bit. I've got a couple other drinks here. Let's see how long we party. So, thanks for having me back, Dougie.
That's good. I got water.
I've got champagne. So
you got champagne? What?
I got champagne.
I guess I can hoof some of this. I could take some oxygen into my nose.
I remember last time you said your wife cooked you a big dinner, but you just passed out before it, or it was something like that.
I got
brought some baijiu. I brought some Mongolian vodka. We went pretty hard. It was good. So to commemorate that, I like to come loaded for bear when I wake up late with Dougie. So
there you go.
I'm too bad we couldn't do this in person, so I didn't have more presents or more surprises like I have had in the past. But I'll do what I can.
It's always great. And welcome for the first time, Pauley. Welcome to the show.
Very excited. Thank you. I was very honored when you asked.
Absolutely.
Like,
yeah, when we met originally at the Red Light, which is a comedy show that was hosted by our late good friend who just passed, Brian Mac, and what I say, Brian? No, what am I talking about?
Bobby Mac. Rest in
goodness.
Rest in power.
Yeah, we lost a lot of people in Florida comedy. Dexter Angry, Bobby Mac,
Dave Perez.
Yeah.
And you guys killed Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was considering comedy.
Yeah, but that was in but that's in Florida. There, Wayne Felber.
That's right.
It's like half a dozen or so.
And all men. I was looking at somebody made a collage of all of them, and there's not one woman. Why?
Well, we know women are superior. That's why, Pauley. I mean, come on.
I don't think so, but no. Why? Why? That is so weird, right? Like 6 dudes, 0 women.
It's just horrible.
Yeah, I'm not much of a feminist. That's one thing we'll talk about later.
Oh yeah, okay, we'll get into that, I'm sure. Well, yeah, and that was the first time we met at doing that show. It was fun, and they're still doing it, I guess. The good thing is they're still carrying on the tradition to have the show at the Red Light Room at the because it's called Monroe's. It's a strip club in West Palm, right?
Yeah. That's a cool spot. It was like the VIP room of the strip club, and it turned into a comedy room during the pandemic. So yeah.
It's always interesting doing comedy at a strip club. I booked a room at Goldfinger's in Fort Lauderdale. I think they restarted it again, but it's really hard to get people to come to a comedy show if it's at a strip club, even if it's in a separate room. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah. And so I always try to have my titties out. I always try to compete a little, but for my sets.
It's bringing it to school. It's burlesque. It's like an old school burlesque show. It's like your you're Lenny Bruce, and you've got honey going on after you.
Yeah, that'd be good. You bring back the old burlesque shows. Have a comic, have a stripper, have a comic, have a stripper.
That's a good idea.
Why not? I mean, who doesn't like to laugh and get hard, laugh and get hard, laugh and get hard? Although I'd say at my age, strippers just don't like. I'm not like 16 anymore. When I go to strip club, I don't sit there and go, "Oh, I can't stand up now."
You were there with your wife that night too, at the strip club. I remember.
Yeah.
Did she have a good time?
Yeah, she likes it. She likes coming out to the shows and meeting everybody. She's one of those people that gets mad when somebody doesn't recognize they met before. It's like so many times a comic, she'll meet somebody like, "Hey, nice to meet you," and she's like, "Well, we met already, you dumbass."
No. Yeah.
That's why it's always good to say, "Good to see you again." It's good to see you. Nice to meet you. Don't ever do that.
Good to see you again. Or just good to see you.
That's right. So I'm in a bit of with everything going on. I got to be honest with you guys. I could use your help in getting shit up. I'm in a bit of a rut. Like I manage money for a living. So the last couple of weeks I've aged like a president when it came to the stock market. I mean, everything was going nuts. And then and comedy is rough. I mean, right now it's hard to get booked, man. It's hard to get booked. There's less comedy rooms, professional comedy clubs, and there's more comics. Everybody's a fucking comic nowadays. Everybody's a comic. Nobody's got time to do karaoke. Everybody just wants to go tell jokes. That's all they want to fuck. I'm funny. Now when people say that, we say something here in Greenville, South Carolina, where I've moved, right? Because a lot of people move here now. So a lot of people are like, look. So now when somebody asks me, how is it in Greenville, South Carolina? Like, it's fucking horrible. It's a shithole. You don't want to come here.
Yeah.
That's why when somebody says, I'm thinking about being a comic, like, don't do it. It's horrible. It's a worst fucking gig you can ever have.
Same thing with Florida, Miami. We have like every comedian from New York, from LA, from all the places that all want to be in Miami. And one of my comic friends called them the pandemic refugees, I think. But yeah, like there's a pandemic, and then they're taken to stages. It's a lot of competition and very little. And then also I think the audiences have gotten something about like just a random person off the street, third time they're doing stand-up, and the audience loves it and validates it. And like, there's no more real respect for like the art of joke writing or something. You just go up there, and if you use the sort of comedian intonation that they've seen on Netflix, then they get laughs. And then I'm like, oh, I don't have to write jokes anymore. That's my opinion. I don't know. Something's happening where people aren't really needing to write jokes, because if you just sound like a comedian, then it's just, I don't know. There's something to it. It's my own research.
Well, Miami has gotten the reputation of having many comics that do crowd work only. And I mentioned this on the show the other day because somebody asked me I was in another state, and somebody said, "Oh, you're from Florida?" Yeah. Well, Miami, I heard everybody there just does crowd work. And I was like, I don't know about everybody, but I know. I basically said, I said, well, the way the crowds are in Miami, it's almost like you have to, because they're so preoccupied with so much other shit. They're they got so many other things going on in their mind. It's like you don't got time to have a set up punchline. You gotta
you kind of have to. Like, I'm going to talk about you. Pay attention. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I talked to my buddy Ian Bedenhurst, who does stand-up comedy here, and he said there's still about 80 comedians doing like small shows around Shanghai in English, as well as kind of the burgeoning Chinese comedy scene here. And some of the guys who used to live in Shanghai, there's a Simeon Goodson who's just got passed at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and so different guys going around. So the comedy scene here is still underground, but we still got something going. Obviously, it's a lot less active with less international comedians coming in.
Yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to do. Brian and I talked about going out there to Shanghai. I mean, it would be good for a one-nighter. I'm gonna go to Shanghai for a one-nighter. It's gonna take me 3 days to get there just to do fucking an hour, and then I'm gonna be home the next day. It'd be great to do that.
Oh, come on. Shanghai, Hong Kong. You got to visit your wife's Cambodian, right? I think she's Cambodian. Go visit Phnom Penh. Great city over there, too. So you can do the whole circuit.
Yeah,
Wow.
no. If I go there, I'm definitely going to be there for a few weeks. If I go there, I don't know. Who knows? I guess I need a vaccine, don't I, to go into Asia?
Oh, I
I don't
wouldn't.
Well,
know.
it depends on where you're going. Right now in China, getting in and out is a giant pain. No matter what, you need to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Oh,
So,
whoa.
as you know, Dougie, like I've DJ'd like in almost 30 countries and stuff. I spent half my time on the road going all around. That's been severely curtailed to zero over the past 2 years. So,
I was just going to
for
say,
so China,
how's that?
you need to do that. Yeah.
So yeah. Now, have you been vaccinated, Brian?
I've gotten the Sinovac, the Chinese vaccine, which is about the powerful equivalent of an aspirin. It doesn't really do anything, but they wanted to have their own vaccine. So
Wow.
they do that and they export it to countries that don't really want it. And they just kind of accept it to appease China. And I've had 2 shots. Now they're starting to make the third one available, the booster. But to
Wow.
travel around, you need to get like I was just in Beijing for an acting gig, a commercial acting gig, following up with Dougie, who does some great commercial work. And to get on the train to Beijing, like I had to show a COVID test that I can get at a local hospital. It was really quick, but you got to show a thing, and they scan your QR code on your phone, and they just monitor everything, and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
You still
Yeah.
you still have to wear face masks indoors and stuff over there, or what?
For the most part, I don't. In like subways, you do. Shanghai's a very big metro city, so
Okay.
you wear them in a subway. Restaurants, and not so much anymore. Much less of a big
Cool.
deal. I mean, there was one area of the city here called Jing'an, and there was like one case, and they shut down the little area. But for the most part, like I'm still DJing in clubs most nights and stuff, so it's all good.
Oh,
Yeah, that's got to be rough. I mean, a lot of it's shut down. I mean, if I want to go to New York, you got to have a vaccine if you're going to perform in any of the clubs in New York, and then again, you do what you want. I'm just not. I caught COVID for the second time. I caught it in December for the second time,
Mhm.
and I
whoa.
survived it twice. Yeah, so I don't know if I
Unvaxxed?
need to
Like
go.
unvaxxed COVID? Did you get
Yeah,
unvaxxed COVID or? Oh,
yeah.
okay. And was that
I've
like
never been.
terrible?
No, I was okay. Matter of
Good
fact, you know
job.
how everybody keeps saying, well, if the unvaxxed are going to the hospital, but the vaxxed are like the vaccine's keeping people from getting sick. Well, my family, when those who were vaxxed got sick with Omicron, and I
Hmm.
was sitting around, playing volleyball at home, and it really didn't bug me. But then again, look at me, I'm an incredible physical specimen. I am a bit
Yes,
of
you
a,
are.
I am a bit of a I am a bit of a, medical miracle. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I had kidney stones, and I am in the medical journals because I'm one of the first people ever to pass a kidney stone, self gratifying myself, uh, in a
Stop.
lonely. Yes,
Wait, I'm
it
believing
happened.
you. Don't lie to me.
As God is my witness,
It was
I was at the.
in your whoa. I want to okay, can we could talk about that later if you want, but that's cool. Hold on.
No, we might
So
as well
you
now.
didn't know and
No,
then you were doing it.
I knew I had kidney
Okay.
stones because I had the pain for 2 days, and I went to the hospital. I drove myself to the hospital, and speaking of true comedian, as I'm on my way to the hospital, like I call Perry Sack because I'm supposed to open up for Mike Vecchione at Sunrise Theater in Fort Pierce, and I'm calling Perry. Perry, I may not make the show. You got to cover for me. So I get there. They give me some morphine. I feel a little better. They take a scan. The doctor says, "Yeah, you've got a kidney stone. It's about the size of a piece of rice, but it's good. It went through the channel, like down your kidney. That's where it hurts when it goes down that little tube, and then now it's in your bladder. So eventually you're gonna have to pee it out. It's gonna hurt, whatever." Well, I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, performing at a club, and I was in the comedy condo, and I had my iPad, and I had a few hours, and I hadn't been home for a couple of weeks. So I said, "Yeah." So I put the towel down, because I'm not a dirty bastard. I'm pretty clean. I like to. I'm not like a germaphobe, but So I
Uh-huh.
just I put the towel down like in the old days when they used to shoot people out of a cannon, and they had to figure out where they're going to
Yeah.
put the net. So that was me
Uh-huh.
figuring out where I'm going to go, and it's been a couple weeks. Like who knows what can happen? And that
Splash
thing
zone.
flew like a foul ball at Fenway Park, and it was a piece of red, looked like red mulch that landed
Wow.
right on the towel.
So if it was a stone, what you're saying, you spunked spelunking. You were spelunking spunker. You're one of those things in there.
Yeah. But I am in the medical journals. No, it didn't hurt. It felt great, matter of fact.
And didn't ruin your orgasm. That's great. Wow,
I didn't even
what
feel
a great story.
There was such a buildup. Now, mind you, had I just been figuring out, I just pleasured myself a few hours ago. Let's do it again. Who knows? It may have been a little more painful that had a Peter North thrust to it. You know what I'm saying? There was a mighty surge at the gate, and I don't think that pellet had a chance. I'm just glad there wasn't anybody walking by. I may have hurt somebody. So nevertheless.
Do you ever check your spelunking future just to see what other diamonds or rocks come in? Like, do you take out the sander and see if you get any diamonds in there or anything?
I know. Now when I masturbate, it's like I'm catching oysters and looking for pearls. Who knows? Can you imagine? The goose that lays the golden egg, the penis that shoots the pearly jizz.
There's so much pearl. There you go. That's the pearl jam. Yeah.
That could be that should be a new child's story, you know. All right, let's get to our topics. Neil Young versus Joe Rogan. We've all heard it. And listen, as a musician, I like Neil Young. You know, an iconic music figure in our history, right? But it is a bit ironic to me that a guy like that, who's like, you know, what's the song about? America. I'm trying to remember the name. I'm just banking on a song. When his last
Keep on Rocking the Free World.
Keep on Rocking the Free World. Here's a guy who's keep rocking the free world, but he's trying to censor a guy off a podcast site. You know, what do you? I mean, you're into music. You're a DJ. You DJ'd all around the world. You know musicians pretty well. Why would a guy like this decide to turn on Joe Rogan over fucking vaccines, over news? Listen, can we all agree, no matter how smart you fucking think you are, the way the vaccines and this whole pandemic's going, it's changing every day.
So we don't know anything. Yes. We don't know anything. And that's what Bill Maher was talking about too. Like in the future, we're going to be like, what? We didn't know anything that we were doing in 2022. So like, yes. And South Park is being really cool about this too. Like in the last, they did like 3 seasons, 3 specials about the pandemic. And the main message was, let's cut each other some slack. All of us, both sides, just be nice. We're all going through this weird thing. Nobody's right. Let's just be really cool to each other. Like, you know what I mean? And it's so weird that we want to fight for stuff we don't know.
I disagree with Neil Young a lot. There's a couple different things to think about, though, especially considering that Neil Young has historically been a progressive, and you're talking about Joe Rogan, who's a Bernie Sanders supporter. So is that really the person you want to take off of a platform, someone who supports a progressive like Bernie Sanders, you know? And so, I mean, it's just such a rabbit hole that you could find, especially when you're talking about someone like Neil Young who's saying, hey, my, about Johnny Rotten, John Lydon from the Sex Pistols. And now John Lydon is a Trump supporter too. Does that mean that Neil Young can't sing a song about him anymore? It's, I appreciate that he's passionate and he's still involved, but he was never a streaming music guy. He's always talked negatively about Spotify. So I think if this is just an excuse for him to kind of talk negatively about them anyway. And as a music guy, a lot of musicians don't like Spotify. If this is going to be something that they can rally around it for him and Joni Mitchell and was it Niels Lofgren from the E Street Band, then they'll use this as a tool.
Yeah, it's interesting that that's what he's standing up against. Not like, oh, let's get rid of all the racist bands on Spotify. If there's no space for racist bands or me. No, he's like, no, the vaxxers. Those are the ones I'm angry. So weird.
A Bernie Sanders guy. A Bernie Sanders guy.
Huh? Yeah. And then
it's
Joe
Bernie
Rogan
Sanders guy.
Video was, I'm sorry, guys, but like, I thought it was really humble, his apology. And I thought it was just from the heart. And he was really cool. Like, what can I do better? And I'm going to have more dissenting what's the word? I'm Hispanic. I don't know words. So yeah, you know what I mean? Did you guys see the video where he's apologizing?
Yeah, yeah,
Rogan?
and he did a great
I
job
believe
because
him.
I mean, he basically said he likes his music. He's surprised at it, but you said it, Paulie. Like when this whole pandemic started, and I'm no secret. I'm a Republican, and I voted for Trump, and listen, that's who I am, and you don't like it, fuck you. I
Mhm.
don't give a fuck. But I don't, but people bring that up like, okay, well, it was either Hillary Clinton or fucking Trump, and there's nobody more corrupt than the Clintons when you look at that fucking family. So I go, so whatever it is, I go, but when the pandemic hit, this was a time of crisis, and when the other party just wanted to drill the guy, it put the country unstable. You put every person on in this country in a bad situation when all you wanted to do is oppose the guy, right, and make life visible. Because we were in an unprecedented moment. Everybody's figuring it out. Mask, no mask. You're 6 feet, fucking. Everybody was like, because that's in times like that, it's not easy to lead because there is no answer. It's not like you have a book that says, "Here's what you got to fucking do." When this happens, you got
Right.
to do this. When everything is you're doing it simply on faith, and that's where leadership comes. Leaders have to make decisions when there's no fucking clear cut answer. You got to make hard
Yeah.
decisions,
And
and
that's when the
it's
country
interesting.
turned on him the worst. Yeah, they
Well,
turned
it
on him the
turned on
worst
him,
when he was trying.
and it hasn't gotten any better because we're turning on ourselves, right? I mean, this whole
Mhm.
vaccination thing is bullshit. It's like, oh, you got to get vaccinated so you can protect me. No, you can still get it. I can still fucking get it. It's a fucking joke. And don't tell me
Yeah.
that, oh, if you're vaccinated, it keeps you. Somebody said that in a fucking show the other day. It was with comics, and some lady goes, "Oh, thank God I had the vaccine. Otherwise, I would have got sick." I'm like, no, 98% of the fucking people who get it don't get fucking sick. That's what you should be being thankful
Yeah.
for,
My whole
not the
family is
fucking
vaxxed
vaccination.
and they got sick. I'm vaxxed and I haven't gotten it at all. And I'm at comedy shows sharing mics, licking mics. I'm doing everything. And I don't know. But the French say
Boy,
you
you ever
can't
wish
get
you
it if
were a
you
Mike? You ever wish you were a Mike?
take. Thank you, Dougie. No, but yeah, I think it's because I smoke cigarettes. I think
Mm.
cigarettes are killing the thing in my throat. I'm sorry, not my tonsils. They're killing the virus in my throat. So I'm
Well,
sticking with that.
well, just by the numbers, you're less likely to have issues if you're vaxxed, especially if you have a kind of a more of a real vaccine. But Neil
True,
Young, he's
true.
76 years old. And he's 76 years old. He wants to hit the road and stuff. I think that's just as a music fan, that's been the saddest thing about the pandemic. Or it's the same thing with comedy or any sort of gigs. Like there's these guys in their late 70s or even 80s who could be spending doing their last dozens or bunch of shows and they're not able to. And that's just really sad.
Yeah. Well, a lot
Yeah.
of
No,
people are jumping in on this. A lot of the people, like you mentioned, some of these other, this guitar player from the E Street Band, Jody Mitchell. I mean, who gives a fuck about these people? Don't put your music out there.
Joni
Um,
Mitchell.
um, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have also commented to Spotify, which, you know, I, I, I don't want to get into Prince fucking Harry, but he's the beginning of the Antichrist. Okay, some people are thinking the child that him and Merkel are having, Meghan, is probably going to be the Antichrist, because Prince Harry is a bit of a fucking odd bird in that family. He did
Hmm.
have an evil streak. Remember, he was the one who wore the Nazi outfit in the
Oh
Halloween
yeah,
costume and
he
everything.
did.
He has a weird side to him, and some people said he's been turned to the dark side, and
I
that's
don't
why
know
the
much
family's
about those
kicking him.
two.
Yeah, it's interesting the royal family,
Who
the stories behind the royal
So
family.
they took what they have an album. They took that off spot. What do they have? A podcast? I was like, I didn't know they were in a band. They took what
Yeah,
off Spotify?
yeah, they
What did
sing
they
that
take off
different
song.
Spotify?
Prince.
Yeah, that was a
Oh,
different
okay.
Prince. Yeah, you better not take him off Spotify. Um,
No,
yeah,
no.
I
I
don't
wonder
think
if
Prince
Prince
would
would
give a
be
shit.
vaxxed. Would
No, I
Prince
don't
have
think
been a vaxxer?
Prince would not fucking care. Whatever you did, person like Prince who spoke, it was that outgoing. Would not care what you did. I can assure you.
Yeah, man.
Well,
See,
he was
that's where I'm
a
at.
hardcore vegan. He was like one of those raw vegan dudes who he didn't allow any sort of animal product inside his home in Minneapolis. So who knows? And then at the end, he was bicycling to go get drugs anyway. So who the fuck knows what he would have?
I feel safer being vaxxed. So, guys, I do feel safer being vaxxed. I feel less like I'm gonna die, which is pretty cool. You know, I just for me because I'm a hypochondriac.
Right.
You know, for me, but.
Well, I got to tell you, when I caught it COVID again, I felt good. I felt okay. Even my doctor said, well, consider yourself boosted. Consider yourself boosted now because you got more, and there's difference between, there's more and more proof that natural immunity is a bit better because it is your body producing it. It's like, it's like steroids to the body. If a man takes steroids, he gets testosterone in his body, he gets big muscles, but his actual body, that his production of testosterone in his body ceases because it doesn't need it. And that's why men, when they got to get off steroids, they got to wean off it. Otherwise their dick turns into a button and, and that's it. And they, so anyway.
Here's the thing. The answer to bad free speech, if that's how you interpreted it, is just more free speech. If you don't like Joe Rogan, Neil Young should put it out an album called Fuck Joe Rogan, and then everyone could be happy.
Yeah, and that can be on Spotify. Yeah.
I agree with that. Listen, one of the things we didn't put on here, but Whoopi Goldberg is catching a lot of shit because she basically was on the show on Monday saying that the fucking Holocaust was not a racist, was not racial. It was just evil white men, pushing their buttons.
You would think a Goldberg would know better than that.
Yes.
Well, what's the difference between those two things? Wait, I mean, that it's not racist, but it's evil white man? So this is the same thing. I mean, she's...
Listen. Whoopi Goldberg is turning into Jabba the Hutt right under our eyes. So pretty soon she isn't going to be able to fit on that fucking screen. Enough of this view, people. If you want to get mad at Joe Rogan for the shit he says in his podcast, why don't they look at the shit that they're talking about on The View? I mean, these cackling hens.
Just like women, it's women because no one pays attention to women talking. No one's really listening. No, women are listening, I guess, right? Who's watching The View? No,
there's
really
no
is
men
watching
that fucking show.
No, because men aren't watching The View.
I mean, according to Sean Penn, there might be some guys watching that, which we're going to talk about here as well. You know what I mean?
Good callback to that. Oh, we haven't started about talk. We haven't talked about it. But yeah.
So,
but let me ask you this, Pauley. Like, I hear that more and more women are getting into true crime podcasts, and you have an excellent one that I've binge listened to. And
really?
Like, is that like a trend? I've listened to every episode. So I've got a whole bunch of questions and stuff. Maybe we'll get to that. But like,
it is a trend.
It's a trend now.
Women are into murder. Yeah, like people are like, my friend teaches a yoga class, and now instead of playing relaxing Enya music, she's just playing like true crime podcasts while she...
Crazy.
I swear to God. I just knew the killer. Like he went to high school with me, so I had to make a true crime podcast because I've been in touch with a killer for 15 years, and I was like, okay, well, this is the time to finally put it out. And yeah. Stab the Nun 92 times. Listen to it, guys. Sacred Scandal on Apple Podcasts.
I'm a fan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Check it out.
I had to go to Ukraine in December, so like I put my neck out there for the sake of the story. I could have been invaded by Putin, and I went there for murder and for crime, and I'm proud of it. So thank you so much. That means the world to me.
Ukrainian people are hot. Like the dudes are handsome, the girls are pretty. Like, did you notice that in Ukraine?
I was morbidly obese in that country. Yeah, no, it was not okay. I was very embarrassed to be there, just alive.
I've never been to Kiev, but everyone I've met from the Ukraine, who no matter who they are. Men, women, I'm sure their dogs are fucking handsome. Like everyone there is just beautiful.
And thin, and so thin. Yeah,
they're all running from Russians, so they're trying to get... Now, I've always felt that way about Eastern European women because, when you're hanging out in South Beach, you'd meet those Eastern... And they're all 6'2". They're all beautiful, They have... They're the greatest in bed.
Who are they?
I'm guessing. I can only assume.
They have great fillers. Have you guys noticed every woman's got
Ukraine girls really knock me out? Yeah, they got to keep their men warm at night.
Yeah,
As
it's a
men, have
rough.
you guys noticed women's fillers? Because I notice it a lot. Like, I don't think so. I'm being left out because, like, all women's, especially the Eastern European ones, that every girl's getting like the same lips. Have you guys noticed that? Do men notice that
Yes.
that everyone's got the same face now? No.
After we stare at the tits, we look right at the lips. That's the second place.
Oh, okay,
From the
okay.
tits
There
to
you
the
go. There
lips.
you go.
No, it's funny. And listen, I that will be that's if I was single, but that would be a deal breaker for me with women that have those, those tire lips, look like a baboon, lip. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
do.
like
They
a
look like
butt.
baboon lips, and they, I mean, come on. I mean, a
Yeah,
little
I'm like,
bit's okay, but
should I
when
do it?
because isn't that a warning sign, Brian? When a woman goes that far, pays that much attention into trying to look beautiful, she's not going to give a shit about you.
Really?
She's not
No,
going to fucking worry about you.
yeah, and they're just not fun. Like, you just want to kick back and have a good time and get down, and they're worried about their fingertips and
Oh
fixing
yeah,
their
the
makeup.
nail
Like, ugh,
Mm.
forget that
and
stuff.
lashes are
Same
getting hideous.
thing. Same thing in Asia. Same thing everywhere.
Oh, in
Yeah.
Asia too. Good to know.
So be careful with the women with big lips. Well, and we mentioned this earlier in the show. Bill Maher pushes back on Fauci. Says, "Don't sit there in your white coat and tell me. Just do what we say." Enough of Fauci. And you know what, Bill Maher, good, because I was getting sick of Bill Maher. I think that was going to happen when they didn't have Trump to make fun of. A lot of these talk show hosts are like, "Well, what do we do now?" What do we, who do we pick on now? So Joe Rogan, you start picking on Joe Rogan, you start picking on other people. And now even Bill Maher's getting, people are saying, "Hey man, what happened to you? What's wrong with you?" And he came out and said, he goes, "Look, the left making it easy. They're doing the stupidest shit in the world. And, they're making it fucking easy for us because we look
It's
like
just
idiots."
it's weird. Like, I was a girl, I was born in the 80s and I grew up in the 90s, and I grew up like always thinking, I'm a liberal because that's freedom and that's cool and that's like the artists and da da da. But now, like, I'm late 30s, and dude, for me, like, I think the pandemic, well, at the beginning of Trump and when the pandemic, I was like, whoa, 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 what's going on? Like, my party or the liberals were the ones going, you got to mask up, you got to do this, you got to follow the rules, you got to, and it was also militant and so strict. And I was like, what is happening? This is not, it felt like it should have been what the Republicans would have been saying, but it wasn't. And then all of a sudden I found myself with no party, and just, it all turned around. I don't know what the liberals have done because I can't identify with one anymore. That's the
Yeah,
truth. I am.
like the progressive, you have kind of two kind of ideals in sort of progressivism. One is the community, we got to hold hands and take care of each other and that sort of aspect. But then you also have the don't trust anyone over 30 and be skeptical of authority, and Abby Hoffman and steal this book and all of those sort of things. So those kind of two strains are kind of running into each other, and especially when you had Trump on one side, who was a very easy person to be a figurehead to oppose. Now with that gone, like you said, Dougie, like the strains are kind of biting into each other.
Yeah, I think that's a good part of that. Well,
I'm just
Sean Penn,
partyless.
another story here. Sean Penn says American men have become quite feminized and blames it on cowardly genes. We definitely have seen that. It started with everybody gets a trophy. It's listen, for a while there, I always felt like my wife was demasculated. Was that when what's that expression again? When you get demasculated, or emasculated me. Because like don't do this and do that, and I'm like, fuck, I'm a man. I'm supposed to do this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old time guy. Like, I'm gonna fucking open the door. I'm gonna buy dinner. I'm gonna. It's just the way it is. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when we think about equality, I think that's a weird feeling. Like, equality should be everybody should have the same opportunities. Everybody should have the same, rights and this and that. But we're not all fucking equal. We're not all fucking equal.
Well, I think women are castrating men. I think we're kind of making men. We want them not to be men anymore because, like, not me, but like, you know what I mean. Like, I feel like they're like, stop catcalling, stop touching, stop looking at my ass, stop da 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 da. You have to behave, and like, men are just sexual creatures, you know.
And it's always the ugly bitches that are fucking saying that. No one's catcalling you, honey.
I know, and I miss it now. I'm like, where no one looks.
When you see these women, like, I was in a conversation that was with comics a few weeks ago, and this woman was like, "Oh, guys today." And I looked at her like, "Bitch, what guy are you fucking talking about?" You know, the puppet under your bed, like, you know what I mean? Like, and sometimes, and that's just the way. Like, I'll say, listen, I've always been the guy who says what the fuck I want to say, and if you don't like it, that's I'm sorry if you misunderstood or you know. Right. I mean, that's another thing, too. You can't say what you want to say now because somebody's going to say, oh, you said this. You must have meant this. Nothing irks me more when I say something and somebody says, you just said that. I go, no, I know what I just fucking said. Don't tell me what I just fucking said. Right. I mean, it's like you said, it's a know-it-all society. The society thinks they know fucking everything and they don't know shit.
Mm-mm. But men being more feminine is kind of something I think I've observed. I'm like, damn, dude. Chest hair is awesome. Like leg hair is awesome. Like I love that stuff. Why remove? Like I don't know. Yeah, dudes are becoming very feminine. I think looking and appearance. I don't know about attitude. Maybe
we can blame Prince for that. Maybe Prince got us a little, you know. You know.
But I'm a different generation too. I'm closer to you.
For a long time, things kind of moved to an androgynous sort of standpoint, but then the LGBTQ movement said no. I want to be identified as masculine, whereas kind of the idea was to kind of not identify people. But now it is to kind of push people off to the side. And especially if you're going to, kind of, like you said, cut off that sort of masculine side and what it represents in a lot of ways, you're going to run into trouble. My favorite part of this story, though, was that I was kind of skimming these stories that you sent me, Dougie, and you wrote, let me see here, blames it on cowardly genes, EANS. And I was like, cowardly genes? Is that like a brand of fucking Levi's? Or like
I saw that.
Pants too tight? Cowardly, like you're afraid to go outside and you got a fat ass now and you're feeling cowardly in your jeans. I was kind of confused by that, but I think I'm with you now, Dougie.
So funny.
Yeah, cowardly genes are made for those type of men who, I mean, listen, I transcribed it straight from the, I pulled it, cut and pasted it right from the article. I think it has a lot to do with that. I think, listen, ever since the Me Too movement, a lot of men became nervous. They went, okay, I'm going to pull it back a little bit, and who knows, it happens. And but like anything, you would imagine this is all going to turn around, or it's basically we could blame it on the fluoride in the water. I think it's the fluoride in the water. Everybody's turning gay.
Is that what you really think it is? Do you really think it's the fluoride?
Now you sound like Prince.
I think, but at least it's good that, like, more men are being like, all right, yeah, like I'm bi or I'm pan, and that's good because you don't have to, be married for 25 years and then like find your husband's gay porn. Like you just can know that, that he liked it, that he dabbled or whatever. I guess that's good for women. I'm not speaking from experience, but I'm just saying, like, it's so better.
So what
I
you're
still
saying,
buy dinners on dates. I still open doors.
There you go.
So Pauley,
according to Pauley, though, for any woman before she gets married, she should put her husband through the "Does he like dick" test. So be sure, like, maybe have him go with you to like a men's strip club, like a female strip club, and then have him see if he looks at the dick. Like pull an eggplant out and go, honey, do you want to, carve this, trim, peel this eggplant for me, and stick it in his ass. Perhaps you should think about marrying him or not. This may not be a surprise to anybody, but internet. Actually, I skipped one. Sorry. This happened to me once, and I know it's snowing and everything. I don't know how much snow you get in Shanghai. Does it snow in Shanghai, Brian?
It might snow once or twice a year. We got a tiny bit of white, but not really so much yet.
Not really. Well, I had the situation once in Colorado Springs where there was snowing all day, and I had to get to the show. And I got down to my rental car, and there was a sheath of ice over the top of the car and the windshield. And I said, "Oh my God, I got to call Uber. I'm not the fuck I'm going to do here." And then I started using the scraper, and it was just like I was making snow cones. Nothing was happening. And then I almost went downstairs. Went to the hotel and went to the coffee pot maker and I was going to get some hot water and just pour it onto the ice on the windshield. As I was walking to the lobby of the hotel, I realized, nope, scientifically, I think that's going to be an issue. I think the glass will crack. And it hit me like a brick. Right. And then when I was walking back, I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm going to call Uber. And then it hit me, one of those travel shows I remember watching. I haven't smoked that much dope yet in my life. I remember that's that from the travel show where it says, turn the car on, put the heater on full blast, let it run for a bit, and that ice will just slip right off the inside. And so there you go. Don't be destroying your car with ice.
And who are you fooling, Dougie? I've been to one of your shows at the Wake Up Late Studios, and you were in Colorado, so you weren't smoking too much, Dougie. Really, Dougie?
Well, I was definitely smoking. Well, no, I wasn't smoking actually, Brian. I was eating edibles. Much better when you have the edible. I love flour. I prefer flour over edibles. But if you have edibles, why not? And our last part of our topics today. Who didn't know this? But internet trolls are narcissists, psychopaths, and sadists. Study finds out. Of course,
I love that picture. That picture's so good. Yeah. I'm having a couple trolls now on my podcast, and it's like for the first time I have something really public that's getting it's gotten like 350,000 downloads, I think,
nice.
like in the last couple of weeks. Yeah. And so people are talking, and it's my first time dealing with fame, and it's really weird how people are just quick to be dicks, and really mean. And that's why my producer said, stop reading, no more reading reviews. Like, that's really bad for us. So, I don't know. Internet trolls are probably, and they're not all like fat, ugly people. Like, some are just wounded. You think of a troll and you think of like, just like this like super nerd, just like, you know what I mean? You have a image of like a super, but no, my husband's been tracking them down, like finding who wrote what comment on Apple Podcasts and finding their Instagram and then writing to them and going, wow, like, why did you say this about my wife's podcast? And some are like hot yoga babes. Like, they're like pretty, like, so I don't know. I have something with yoga babes.
Oddly enough, your husband chose those hot yoga babes.
To write to, right? Jesus.
Yeah, honey, how come you didn't respond to any of these guys? I'm not gay. Well,
went to musical theater. I mean, he studied musical theater, so I don't know. But anyway,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
I listen. I've learned. You cannot pay attention to that shit. You really can't. Bottom line is, everybody has a voice nowadays. I miss the good old days where people just shut the fuck up, and kept it to themselves for the most part. Now everybody's just emboldened to say what they fucking feel. Eventually what's going to happen is freedom of speech is going to come with an IQ test. And if you don't pass that IQ test, you're going to have to wear a fucking muzzle, and you're not going to allow to have any social media presence. And, that's the way it should be. Freedom.
That'd be great for voting. For voting.
Yeah. Like on YouTube videos that I host, like I'll check the comments just to see what's up. And some people will just say these really snarky, just horrible things, and I just message back saying, well, sorry you didn't like it, but maybe you'll like the next one. And they always message me back saying, oh, I didn't really mean it, or whatever. And I'm almost more disappointed in that, because what's the point in trying to communicate, trying to reach out, if you're not even expressing something real? Like, if you had like a genuine criticism or something that could be useful or something to add to the conversation, say it. No shame in the game. Put it out there. But when you're just snarky and negative and posting a GIF or a meme and just some nonsense, what's the point of these words that we're using here on this podcast or on a message board if you're not going to stand behind them?
Wow. So you message back and then they're nice. They like retract. Is that what you're saying? Like, a lot of them retract.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that does happen. Like I've that's happened on the YouTube comments for the art gear videos that I'm on and stuff. Like, because the whole point is, like, they don't really mean that, because they don't really mean anything. They're just looking to add to the conversation, but they have nothing to say. It's just really easy to say, you suck.
Yeah.
Good one.
Wow.
It doesn't require any thought. You don't have to actually create anything new.
Well, I'm going to be a bit of a troll for our first story in the news as a joke. You'll appreciate this one, Pauley, because this was filmed in Miami. So this is a typical Miamian. It's just, here's a guy that, bit of a road rage situation breaks out. And when I go to Florida, I can understand. Since I moved to South Carolina from Florida, every time I go back to Florida, I realize why I don't like Florida anymore. Because I'm so used to not having traffic here and then going there and there's traffic all the fucking time because everybody in the world is moving to Florida. So especially South Florida. Everybody's there. So here's you got to see this video.
And then everyone comes with their own driving laws from every country. You know what I mean? Like they all have their different driving laws.
Yes.
And some people are driving on the left side. No, I'm just kidding. But like it's like really, really intense. It's crazy. It's always a 50-50 whether you're going to die or live.
And then you get guys like this that are angry and like somebody, all right, somebody cuts you off, you get mad. Well, this guy is funny. They showed the video, and you got to look this up after, but they look at this fucking.
Oh my God!
Look at this marksman! Look at this marksman!
Marksman!
Oh, that was cool. I mean, a fucking moron. He didn't even roll his window down. He shot through his own fucking windows. What the fuck?
Terrified.
I mean, I would love, God forbid, if somebody else got shot. Thank God nobody got shot. I mean, this guy, fucking Mr. Magoo with a gun. I mean, no fucking regard, recklessness. I mean, he's on a fucking highway and he's pumping out.
I know he regrets getting that dashboard cam for the rest of his life. Like he's like has to live with that footage for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Who the fuck films himself committing a crime? Who the fuck films himself?
Should I get a dark dashboard cam?
The first thing you got to think. The first thing you got to think is, okay, I'm going to shoot somebody. Wait, I got my camera. Let me turn that fucker off. What a fucking moron.
It is peak Florida. Previously, when I wanted to explain to people what Florida was to people, I would play them audio clips of former Wake Up Late for Dougie guest Gary from Florida. But this might be the new one. And my favorite part of this whole thing, deep in the story, was his profession. Did you read what his job was? Are you ready?
What is this? Yeah.
It's a fire inspector. He was an inspector, like checking on codes and stuff. Where does shooting inside your car fit in breaking codes? Or imagine if that guy, found issues at your home with breaking the codes or whatever. Like this is a guy who's supposed to be exact,
Yeah. And by the way, those in Florida that want to know this guy, he's from Deerfield Beach, and his name is Eric Popper. Poppin' Caps off. This is gonna, that's gonna be his new nickname. Eric Poppin' Caps Popper.
No, it's not. You're kidding.
Yes, his name is Eric Popper from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Yeah.
So he's not I thought he might have been a Latin guy, because he looks like a Latin guy.
Ben, is there any way to roll that again just one more time just to watch this clueless douchebag? Can we see? Look. Oh.
Oh, no.
His eyes fucking closed. I mean, is he shitting while he's shooting the gun? Is he shitting his pants?
So scared.
It's the same thing. Bringing this back to the internet trolls, I think there's like in your car, road rage is a little bit like trolling on the internet. Like you have the screen in front of you, you feel protected, so you think you can just launch out nonsense and there's no consequences. Then of course, when you're in Miami and you have a gun, and you might have some issues.
His face looks like he's like, I had to, bro. Like I had no other choice, bro. Like I had to, bro. Like I had to. Like he looks like it was just like imperative that he shot.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see his face? Like it wasn't even. Well, I'm in shock.
Since they posted this, there's been other videos from other angles of the car, and what he thought was, I guess what happened was he hit the brakes. The guy was behind him, so he hit the brakes, and anybody who does that should be shot. You know what I mean? So then the guy went to go around him, and I guess he threw a water bottle at the car. So you hear a water bottle hit the car, or so that guy thought it was a gun shot. So he starts fucking again shooting it like a fucking sniper.
Oh, so they never found a gun in the other car? Do you know?
No, and they found bullet holes in the car. Even if state trooper's car got hit, which was amazing. This guy, you're right. That's why, first of all, when I'm in Florida, I don't say shit. Somebody cuts me off, fucking go. I carry a gun.
Gun.
I carry a gun. I'm sure as hell not going to brandish it. Number one, or number two, there's an old saying when you're a gun owner, when you pull out that gun, you better be ready to use it. And this guy obviously felt that way. I'm pulling that bitch out and using it all over my fucking car. What a fucking idiot. Oh God.
Oh man.
Speaking of other stupid people, actually this woman's smart, but a criminal. The 73-year-old New York grandmother outsmarted scammers who pretended to be her grandson and that they needed $8,000 for bail money. Now, I can assure you that if you want to get money from a person, the worst thing to do is to say, okay, I'll be at your house at 4 p.m. today to pick up the $8,000. And the fucking cops. Oh, I mean,
oh my God.
It's a good sign when criminals are idiots, because then we can find them quickly and dispose of them.
Yeah.
But one thing you said, it could have worked a bunch of times. I know they scam a lot of old people out of their money in South Florida, know. Or this was actually New York, was it? Or wherever it was. In New York, yeah. Although, she stuffed the fake envelope full of paper towels. I think she could have done a better job with fake money than paper towels. But it worked out.
But she didn't have time. She couldn't Amazon that, She had to think quick. I love her. God bless.
She wanted to give the guy, the criminal, when he got arrested, something that he can either wipe his tears with or his ass after he shits his pants after being arrested.
Nice. Yeah. Nicely put, Dougie, Mr. Dougie.
There you go. Our next story, 2 men propped up a dead man's body and brought it to a post office to try to collect his pension. Weekend at Bernie's.
I'm fine with this all the way around.
Yeah.
If you can use my dead body to get some more money, pick up chicks, whatever it's going to be, go for it. Use the corpse, use the body parts, whatever you need to do. Go for it.
The witness was really funny. They had a witness go, I noticed the gentleman wasn't well because his feet were dragging. He wasn't well, to say the least, right? I love that he just wasn't
well. It's one thing when you get one person that thinks something's a great idea, but when you can enroll another person, that to me is the amazing part of this story. That one guy said, look, we got to get this. Look at this pension check. We got to cash it. We can't catch it. He's dead. Because basically the guy died within hours. Like, in other words, he was sick. So they went to try to cash a check. And then they thought he died. So then they're like, oh, fuck it. He just died. So maybe he's got a little bit of a twitch in him. So maybe we can carry him. Like,
if it's in Ireland too.
Yeah.
That's what I want, the Irish accent, like, with this conversation. I just need to hear it in my head.
He's Irish too. They've definitely propped up people to pick up their checks in Ireland once or twice before in that bank.
So. I don't know why.
We did it with Uncle Tommy when he was busted drunk at that one time. I don't know if that's Scottish or Irish, but I can't get my dialects correct.
Oh,
but yeah, I mean that is fucking great. Like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. What we're gonna do? Well, we're gonna pick him up. You hold him. I'll hold him. We'll go there. If they ask, we want a fingerprint. We'll hold his hand. Oh.
Sunglasses? Yes, sunglasses. No sunglasses?
Yeah, gotta have sunglasses. It's in fucking Ireland. It hasn't had sun in years, and the fucking guy wears sunglasses. That was the first thing that tipped him off. The guy had sunglasses on and a fucking hat.
In the winter. Amazing.
And he wasn't drinking. That's the only guy at the bar who wasn't drinking. A Texas woman demanded to buy a child from a mother at a Walmart for $500,000. And like you guys said earlier, who the fuck shops at Walmart that has $500,000 discretionary cash?
Yeah, she said she had $250K in the car first, like in the car in cash. Yeah. So she went there knowing she wanted to buy a child.
And she said, the whole part I find confusing is this. It says a woman and her female friend wanted to buy a child. They had $500,000, and apparently they've been trying for a while. If you have $500,000 to spare, and you have a friend or a partner or whatever, and you have some time, you can get a child. Like, to me, like, it's not that complicated. Exactly. Like, if you've got that much money and time and a partner, just get one legally. Why even bother spending that much money to get an illegal child?
Well, these women are in the sport of it. It's like a fisherman. If a fisherman wants a fish, he can go to the fucking, he can go to the deli and go get some fish, or the fishmonger, and he can go get some fish. Yeah. Or he can get a pole and try to catch the shit himself. And these ladies obviously wanted to catch their own fish. Just that simple.
For $500,000, I'm like, go ahead, take them. Like
was
I
gonna
would,
say.
I would.
I would have put on a
sorry.
fucking
A
preschool
This is why I
outfit.
don't have
little
to
dough-haired, blonde, blue-eyed kid.
Go ahead.
That's quality.
No, if I lost him, I'm sorry, honey. I don't know. He was in the toy aisle, and
But I got a new
just-
Versace bag. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing, right? Like the audacity and the brazenness of people today. That to me is amazing. And she kept bugging her, kept going back.
I know.
At first, when I was
How
reading the
could she
story, I
say
thought
no?
maybe it
How
was a
could-
joke. Yeah, I thought it was maybe a joke. Like they were just kept teasing because the kid was a good-looking kid. Like, oh, your kid's so handsome, I want to buy him.
Right.
But no, we want to fucking buy him.
Oh yeah, and then they were screaming, "We're gonna take him! We're gonna take him!" It said in the article that they were like threatening to take him. Wow, that kid is gonna grow up with a great self-esteem. I'm just saying, he's gonna feel really good about himself.
In our stories of you can't write it any better, pot bus made on Stoner Drive in Bakersfield.
Bakersfield.
Yeah.
At 420.
No.
One of my
That's
drug
amazing.
dealers many years ago was conveniently named Greengrass. So we used to always say, either you're a drug dealer or you're a landscaper. One of those two is what you got to be. So that's
Wow.
great. And by the
I wonder
way,
if there's a Smacksville, and if anyone's ever bought heroin in Smacksville or something like that. you know?
Yeah, that's the next story. A heroin deal went bad in Smacksville.
Or
On No
meth
Tooth
and
Drive.
Massachusetts. I don't know.
Or someone
That
bought
doesn't make
cocaine in Miami.
Yeah.
There you go. Sorry, forget I said
Exactly.
Massachusetts. Please, can you delete that from the podcast?
Massachusetts. No, we won't delete anything. This is here's a great story. Drunk priest mistakenly slaughters human instead of the goat, and then he was arrested. And this is a horrible story. You know, first of all, if you're gonna be participating in some sort of ritual like a sacrifice where an animal's taken, and somebody says, "Hey, do you want to hold the goat?" Fucking don't hold the goat. Okay. It's almost like when you're a kid and your friend wanted to learn how to kick a fucking football, and he says, "Hey, do me a favor, put the ball, hold it with your fucking finger," and you know that clown was going to completely bust your hand open. You know, don't fucking hold the football for Lucy, and don't hold the goat for the priest with the fucking sword. Okay.
No, that goat must have been so happy. That goat must have been like, "What? Seriously?"
The goat was like, "Good fucking deal."
Bye.
Obviously, God didn't want that goat sacrificed. They should worship that goat now.
Yep. That's a good point. Damn, B.
The
priest was-
I've seen like goats being sacrificed. Have you guys ever seen that in person?
Yeah. Well, not live, no.
mm,
TV
in-
or
is
movie
this
or
an-
video.
No.
I've seen it. I've seen like Turkish Muslim guys do that, and they do it like a very automated sort of system where they're doing like a whole bunch of goats. I can really imagine this happening where the guy was just doing the process and then just reached out that one time, it didn't look, and went, "Oh shit," and then backed up. You know, yeah.
And the
Did
guy
I
found
read
it
it correctly?
Tragic, but I can imagine this.
I read the story of it several days ago. I'm trying to remember, but it wasn't like it was a knife, right? It was across the neck, and he cut. So the guy was holding the goat, and he accidentally fucking cut his neck.
Wow.
I'm having a feeling the young man had some things to talk about the priest. Not only does he like me to hold the goat, he likes me to hold his goat. You know what I mean? And so there's no surprise why he was killed.
Oh.
That's
Wow. You have
not
no
too
idea.
dissimilar from her story, her podcast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
gotta-
thank you. Wow, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
this fucking movie. My God, I love you. I'm gonna send you a
Uh,
really nice gift basket
Just
to
keep making
Asia.
those podcasts.
Our second to last story today: a young couple shocked to discover the bargain home they bought was inspired by The Exorcist. Hey, is that green vomit on the wall? What would you do if you found out the home you purchased was the home that the story that The Exorcist was written on was the home of that person?
That's great. I
Good.
turned into a
Who gives a
museum.
shit?
I was like, awesome.
You don't,
Yeah,
you're not
turned it into
spooked
a
by that
museum.
stuff, Brian? You're not spooked by
No,
that,
like I
Brian?
know they have those laws where like if someone commits suicide, they have to tell you. Who gives a crap? Like I read in the story, it said real life demonic possession. I was like, all right, get this nonsense out of here.
Real life.
If it gives a good discount, I couldn't give a crap.
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't know how much I believe in the I've never been possessed, but I've had something repossessed. No, I'm really all about dad jokes today. Wow. But no,
I was a repo man.
I
I was a repo man once. I in my college years, I did repo work, cars, all
Really?
kinds of shit, collection of
Did you ever
money.
have to get into your kickboxing stance? Because I've seen Dougie was a kickboxer or a Muay Thai fighter.
I had to break
That would
out
be
the
that would be a
slapstick.
kicker if that house, the Exorcist house, did get repossessed.
Yeah.
Sorry. These are the things I laugh at, folks. This is why I'm true age like 70 in my heart.
That
Like,
would be a
I'm
great
not.
story. You're right, Pauley. Like here in the
Thank
news,
you.
the house from the Exorcist possession was repossessed by the bank.
Yeah, IRS.
And the devil, and oddly enough, the branch manager died after a sheath of mirror fell off a truck and cut his head off. That was in the Omen, I think. That was in the original Omen, right? And the guy's head was cut off in half when the glass came off the truck or something.
I love you guys so much for going with it, because most of my friends would just be like,
no, that was
you guys.
great.
You guys are a great circle of support.
Paulie, if anything, that's what the news is a joke is all about. We just start riffing, and then something comes from nothing. So
and we do dad jokes. Okay, great. Nice.
That's right. And our last story of the day, woman struck and killed by a car after falling from a party bus in L.A.
I love that. That's the one you find the most hilarious.
Yes. Wow.
You
know, because we all know who this woman was. You know what I mean? She's the one.
She's the
fucking,
woo girl.
Look at me, everybody. I'm taking a selfie. I'm here with my friend. We're going to see guys. We're going to meet people. We're in L.A. Whoops.
And then a car runs her over. Look at you, Dougie. Look at you. Enjoy this. Have you been rejected by a party girl from a bus? Is this where
I was on that fucking
from?
bus. I pushed her. She was so fucking bitch. She says, fuck you, fat boy. I like thin men that are taller. All right. Oops. Sorry about that.
I love that. That's the one you find the funniest. I was kind of like, damn, that sucks. It was a birthday. It was a birthday.
Yeah, but you know what? We've all been at a party or somewhere where there's just somebody just completely out of fucking hand. And I'm sorry. I find it funny that somebody on a party bus partied too hard and not only fell off the bus, but then another like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are they playing
the goat guy
party
came
by
like,
Oingo Boingo?
You land on the ground. You're like, oh, thank God I'm okay. Whoops. Here comes a Buick.
A Buick. My
God
goodness.
almighty.
Oh,
what a world we live in. Well,
you guys are really cool. I'm going to miss you guys.
Tell us a little bit about the podcast. Let everybody know what that is regarding the.
It's called Sacred Scandal. You can find it on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. I may take it off now because I'm going to follow Neil Young's footsteps. Just kidding.
I'm pulling my podcast off.
Just pulling everything out. Seriously, there's no world. No. Sacred Scandal. Really, really, really crazy. True story that happened at my high school, and. A woman stabbed, there's sex abuse, there's all kinds of stuff in there that's, worthy of a listen. And things are coming. Big things are in store for you if you want to listen. There's 6 episodes out and 6 episodes left. Please listen. Thank you so much, Brian, for supporting it and loving it.
There you go.
I'm a fan. It's really good. First, thanks, Dougie, for having me back. I really appreciate it. And just wanted to shout that out. And you can check out the YouTube channel Artger, ARTGER, and Artger's on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And here in Shanghai, China, I produce events under the moniker Toe Jam, TOUJAM, TOUJAM. And got some gigs all at Shanghai, and I'm going to be hitting the road in a little bit once this Winter Olympics things is finished. And no matter where you are in the world, I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Nice. These guys are great. And this Saturday, I'm going to be in Fort Walton Beach. at the Block Comedy Zone headlining. I'm bringing my good friend David Zasloff on us. We have a little tour. We're calling it Two Old White Guys, and that's TOO. Two Old White Guys. Little tour. And there you go. Try to be creative.
Cool.
Go to
Are you doing any in Florida?
Are you doing any Florida? All my Florida dates got canceled in February because of COVID, but we're going to be back in Tavolino's on the 23rd. Steve Marshall, Bear Webb on that show. And then Isla Morada on the 20th, on a Sunday in Isla Morada, March 20th. I'm bringing Steve Marshall as a headliner, and Brittany Brave from Miami, very funny comedian, is going to be featuring for us on that show. So go to DougieAlmeida.com, and don't forget to follow us. Now, we need more subscribers on our YouTube channel here for the Wake Up Late with Dougie show, because if I told you, well, what's the link? It's like YouTube/_# fucking semicolon. You know, we need more people so we could be the Wake Up Late with Dougie show. But listen, Google it, right? I mean, listen, the vice president of the United States, when she was told how to find out how do we get a test? Google it, bitch. You know, that's the way it works. So Google it and Google us, but subscribe to us on our fan page on Facebook, Wake Up Late with Dougie Show fan page, and of course our YouTube channel, Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. And I could definitely use your subscribers on my fan page at Dougie Almeida, comedian Dougie Almeida, and of course our YouTube channel, DougieAlmeida.com. It's been fun. I want to thank Brian Offenther and of course Pauley McPaulerson for joining us today on the Wake Up Late with Dougie Show. Next week we'll have an all new show. Excited about that. And aside from that, everybody, God bless. Keep things simple. Don't go shooting up the interior of your car just because somebody threw a water bottle at your fucking car. And be good, be safe, but most importantly, be yourself. God bless. Take care.